Shalom to the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that teach and that rule well today. And peace and salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry and the believers that scatter worldwide in all truth and sincerity day in and day out. Once again, I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar coming at you with another quick lesson. Okay, gonna be, straight to the point. Okay, and right before I get into this lesson, this message, or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible, and also to the Israelite foreigners that scattered amongst the heathen nations and that may take on the physical appearance or look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Once again, Shalom. As you can see, I had this article queued up on the screen. Okay, as you see off of NBC News. Okay, current news. Okay, which happened a couple of days ago. Okay, on this campus over there, of the University of Delta State University over there out of Mississippi. Okay, as you can see in the headlines, body of a black student is found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. Okay, so now it's still an ongoing investigation. Okay, but we already know 10 out of 10 what happened. Okay, we already know about how that perpetual hatred. Okay, when it comes to so-called whites, okay, which are the biblical Edomites, okay, to have towards, okay, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, and so now this done took place, which is gonna add more fuel to the fire when it comes to the racial tensions, okay, because right now, they don't have no suspects, okay, involved, okay, when it comes to the victim, okay, but we already know, man, most likely it was some Edomites, man. Okay, because now they're saying that it was no foul play. Matter of fact, it just says police at Delta State University said no evidence of foul play was found in the death of Demara Travion Trey Reed, but investigation is going on. Okay, of course they're gonna be the story, man. Okay, now you got all these the tension between the the whole Charlie K situation, okay, that's the allegedly assassination, okay, that fueling whites, okay, even though it was appeared to be so-called white men that shot him, okay, but they blaming so-called blacks, okay. You got certain blacks or Negroes getting on social media, giving a response about the assassination. Okay, going into how it was a good thing. Okay, so they're gonna add fuel to the fire, man, when it comes to the racial tensions. Okay, and you got the whole situation with the whole the white girl that got stabbed by the so-called black man on the train up there in North Carolina. Okay, that's gonna fuel more situation. Okay, we just come in the time of civil unrest and racial tension and race wars, man. Okay, which we know, okay, we come in the time of division, and we know when it comes to Esau, Edom, okay, primary, and the rest of these heathens are our enemies, man. Okay, and you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans soon we're gonna find that out, man. Okay, hey, but lately, you have a cover up of a lot of so-called black men or women being hung. Okay. And we already know, there's a cover up, especially with Mississippi, the southern states, okay, the Confederate states, okay. Let me see. And it says the death of a 21-year-old black student whose body was found hanging from a tree on a university campus, okay, in Mississippi has sparked outrage of allegations online, even after officials said there was no evidence of foul play, okay. So how I guess it was attempted Okay, he's suicidal, not attempted, because eventually he's unalive. Okay, but they said that he suicide. Okay, the reports that he was beaten up. Okay, broken bones. Okay, his body being bruised. Okay, how you gonna do that to yourself? And at the same time, at the last of it, hung himself. Okay, they show you the cover up of the media and the racial tensions they want to push too. Okay, to get so-called blacks. Okay, fire up. Okay, because ever since the CK situation. Okay, you had threats when it comes to certain HBCUs, historical black college universities. Okay, had to go on lockdowns or cancel class. Okay, due to the threats. Okay, you know who? Okay, Esau Edom. Okay, saying how they were going to threaten and bring violence to certain HBCUs. Okay, throughout different states. Okay, now all of a sudden you have this incident that done took place. Okay, and it says police were notified Monday morning about the body found near the pickleball court at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. University Police Chief Michael Pillar said at a news conference later that day. Okay, and that's it. Like I said, I didn't want to make this video too long. Because the point already has, is already there. Okay, especially those that following along when it comes to the Hebrew Israelites, in particular men of great millstone and the brother known down that's truly out there teaching. Okay, about the petrol hatred that Esau Edom have, man. Okay, and they ain't, like I say, ain't even no suspects yet. The investigation's still going on, but you can speculate, man. Okay, and we'll see how it go on from here. Okay, but a lot of these hangings that done took place recently, a lot of them, be being swept under the rug, man. Okay, but we'll see how it might, might have certain so-called blacks, okay, or people that's gonna protest, like the whole Black Lives Matter, okay, movement, okay. Like I say, certain HBCUs might rally, okay. Yeah, so that's just that racial attention, man. Okay, but when it comes to the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, when it comes to the prophets, okay, we always been out there when it comes to the highways and byways and this word being pushed on the internet, are the times that we're coming into as talking or speaking about Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, and we just on the break of it, man. Okay, we've been telling you that the Edomites, the so-called white race, are our enemies. Okay, and these heathen nations. Okay, and we're telling you that 2/3 of our people gonna be judged due to them not repenting and not acknowledging Yahweh Shema Shai, their true power and their true heritage as being Israelites. Okay, that majority of our people want to furthermore trust in this system, trust in Esau Edom, trust in these false gods. Okay, idol worship. Okay, going after these hedonistic customs. Okay, being joined into these different sets of religions. Okay, that's misleading our people. Okay, and our people not repenting from their sins. For furthermore, the Lord going to bring judgment. Okay, and ultimately at the end of the day, okay, is judgment. Okay, that the Lord is bringing upon our nation. Okay, and the only ones that's going to be exempt is the elect. Okay, which considered the 144,000 and the 1/3 that's destined to be saved. That's going to return in the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai. In the knowledge, the times that when it comes by the way of the prophets, man. Okay, and it's only going to get worse from here on out, man. Okay, but we're in the time now, more and more uproars of the people. Okay, civil wars, race wars. Okay, division. Okay, clash wars. Okay, the coming of famine, pestilence, a financial crash, the economy collapsing. Okay, which is going to lead to more anarchy or chaos. Okay, the coming of martial law, detention centers. Okay, and the coming of the RFID microchip being the mark of the beast that's about to be implemented. That's going to replace the physical dollar. Okay, when it comes to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Okay, so for years, starting with the apostles, bishops, and elders, and the brother on down, a great millstone, I always get that stern warning, man. Okay? But let me go ahead and get into the scriptures. Like I said, because I don't want to make this video too long. Okay? But we're going to start off with Ezekiel chapter 35. Okay? And now you Negro, Latino, Native Americans about to come to the realization, okay, that we have enemies. Okay? Primary Esau, Edom. It is heathen nations. Okay? Psalms, the 83rd chapter, go into that. Okay? But this is Ezekiel chapter 35. Moreover, Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesied against it. And the Mount Seir representing Esau, Edom, okay, the so-called white race, okay, and say unto it, thus say the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee desolate. Yeah, because it's going into how the Lord going to bring judgment upon Esau, Edom, and these heathens. Okay, especially when it comes to the time of the peak of the Third World War. Because as it's prophesied in the scriptures, this place America is going to be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear missiles. Okay, and that's going to lead to when Yahweh Shai, who the world called Christ, return of his second coming by the way of the chariots, what the world called UFOs, and Yahweh Shai and the angels, okay, going to bring war to Esau, Edom. Okay, and ultimately going to deliver the elect from out of the great destruction. Okay, but 2/3 of our people going to be judged. Okay, but when the Lord Yahweh shall return and redeem the elect of the nation of Israel, okay, the future, okay, and when it comes to these heathens, they're going to be destroyed over here in America, start with the Edomites. Okay, you know, salvation for any other nation but Israel. Okay, and when it comes to these heathen nations, starting with the elites of Esau, Edom, okay, they're going to go into captivity. Okay, when Yahweh Shai established the kingdom in the land of Israel, which that land is going to be cleansed by the way of missiles, okay, just for it to be rightfully owned by the true inheritors, okay. But the ones of our people that perish on this side, they're going to come back in the kingdom, okay, when it comes to the 2/3. And the heathen nation that perish on this side or in this lifetime, they're going to come back in the kingdom. They'll be slaves because that's their future, okay. But like I say, starting with the elites that's going to escape the missiles, okay, and they're going to be reserved for captivity, okay. And it says, and I will lay thy city waste, and thou shalt be and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Especially this place America. Once this place America totally destroyed by missiles, okay, by the hands of Russia, China, okay, certain members of NATO that's going to turn on this place, okay, when it comes to the EU, all those that got capability going to send their missiles over here, okay, to burn this place, man, okay, and the chariots as well, bringing fire, okay, and ultimately this place is going to be desolate once the fire and smoke dies down, okay, and it's going to become a desert, never inhabited again by nations, okay. But here's the point, verse 5, because thou hast a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of the calamity, in the time that the iniquity had an end. And we know it's a known fact how America was built, okay, off the bloodshed, okay, of the Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, okay, when it comes to the enslavement, okay, and how this country was built, okay, and being subject, us being subject unto Esau, Edom, okay, and still to this day, they had that perpetual hatred, okay. The word perpetual means continually, okay, because they are our enemies, man, okay. Even now, the time now, these post-slavery, okay, they still, you know, have that hatred, okay. And it says, therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Thou shalt not hate blood, even blood shall not pursue thee. And it's going into the Lord bringing judgment ultimately on Esau Edom. Okay? And so that's the, you know, the time be coming into, man. Okay? And let me get this. And I'll get ready to close. Okay? And so these, you know, these Jakes, when I say Jakes, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, that being, the Lord bringing judgment upon them, okay, because the Lord used Esau Edom as well for punishment against us, okay, as we're in this captivity. but the Lord gonna recompense us. Okay, but right now the Lord are gonna only deliver the elect. Okay, in due time, in due justice, and the Lord gonna bring judgment on these heathens, man. Okay, starting with the Edomites. Amos 1:11. This say the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I would not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Okay, so ain't gonna be no uh, uh forgiving Esau, Edom, and these heathens. Okay, especially Edom. Okay, now they got judgment set for them. Okay, what they have done unto us, the Israelites, man. Okay, and the scripture says, never trust our enemies. Okay, when it comes to you Negro, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, that's on Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. Okay, but our people gonna find out the hard way, man. Okay, and so once again, going to the latest. Okay, with this whole situation, with this Jake being hung on a college campus, man. Okay, and so things about to get more and more riled up, man. Okay, but I'll go ahead and end the lesson here, and I pray that lesson will edify. Till next time, Lord willing, shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.